Hello and welcome back to the Pride Pod. This time on a Tuesday night with a shield, Luis. We have arrived with a trophy. I said last week, maybe this time next week we'll be sitting there with a shield, Luis. And here we are. I can't be more excited. I don't know how to start this episode apart from to say we are the winners. We are still undefeated. We are top of the table and took down Washington 2-0 in another incredible game. This show today is going to be a bit of a celebration, and of course, we're going to look at the Washington game, and then we're going to also look ahead to the Portland Thorns as well. But first, I want to welcome my co-host Luis, who has been there since the beginning of Orlando Pride, covering them in the press box and seen some not so fun times, I'm sure, but was lucky enough to be there for this incredible occasion as I was as well. So, Luis, how are you? How was Sunday?
Well, Sunday was magical. I mean, that's the word I could use. I mean, it was picture perfect. Marta scoring the winning goal, even though was there the defender for Washington, McCown, whatever how you pronounce her name. She had a really tough night. I felt a little bad for her because she was almost in tears. But either way, soccer is like that. It's unpredictable. You never know what it could happen. And Orlando was the best team on the pitch by far. The chances that they created in the first and second half. I mean, it's just the way this team is playing as a unit is outstanding. It's night and day. Back in the day, it was everybody fending for themselves. It seemed like everybody was fending to get most be the most viral on the internet, and not so much the soccer, if you know what I mean. But now it's all about winning. It's all about playing the sport, and it makes a huge difference. Not only the age of the players, which these are very young, talented players that we have definitely poached from great colleges like Penn State. Like, I mean, our defense rests on FSU, Penn State. You know, great. You know, great colleges right there. It's just a team that honestly has taken over the league, revolutionized the league, and pretty much shown the league that if you build a true unit, a true collective unit, you can win these games. You can win this league. You can make this big of an impact. And I'm proud that this is happening in Orlando. I'm very delighted that the Wolves were able to open the wallet and make a splash. I feel like the boys could do the same thing next year. Seeing how successful the Pride has been, and honestly, it's just bar none. It's historic for the city, beautiful, historic for Orlando. It's something that the city needed for the longest time, and it's I'm just very very happy that this happened, especially to the Orlando Pride. There's been so many ups and downs. Some of the staff, like Jackie and a lot of people in within the Pride organization that have been there since day one. They've they've seen crowds of less than 1,000 people. Turmoil and things said on the internet and things like that, and now it's all a product of also them put in the work. In a way, I feel like not only the front office but the coaching staff and the players put in the work, and it's being rewarded. And also, I'm gonna have to give huge kudos to the Black Swans, because without the Black Swans, there wouldn't be an Orlando Pride. I mean, the way they just carry the team through thick and thin, for real. Like, not just saying, "Oh, I'm through thick and thin. I'm all about the badge, man." No, this is through thick and thin. Like, honestly, like etched, and like it's tattooed on them. You know what I mean? It's permanent. So I mean, that type of level of support, that's definitely, I'm sure they're gonna kill it in subscription next year. I'm sure they're gonna probably have a record signing for the Black Swans. But either way, I mean, kudos to them because every game, whether win or lose, I heard them chanting, loud and proud, every single song for the Pride. And I'm sure that this was such a special moment because when they were given the shield, it was really a fast celebration. And then the first thing the players did, was go to the Black Swans. That's the first thing they did. So kudos to them too. And it's just an amazing night, John. It was an amazing night.
Definitely. I feel like it was a night for all of those fans, like you say, Louise, been there from the start and watched this team go through so much. And this was kind of like the reward for all that time. You know what I mean? It was it was been some times when you go to a Pride game and there was like 1,000 people there. And those are the people that stuck through this team through thick and thin. And over time, they've been rewarded. And like you said, people like Jackie Maynor, and I think about my mom as well. She was
Yeah,
she was
Kay
really
Rollins, for sure.
emotional. Kay was, she's always been like the Pride is her baby, and she loves this team. And so sure for that, for her, for so many other reasons, so many of the staff members that work so hard, not even just on the Pride side, but on the city side. They're obviously massive Pride fans as well. Everybody, all the
Lucas,
fans,
Lucas, great
yeah,
guy.
like shout out to Lucas and the communications team as well. I mean, everybody, I spoke to Austin, of course, who does
Yeah,
all the writing
Austin.
and all the reporting on the Pride. Everybody, all like, Emily, I saw was posting
Emily
from
was great
social
too.
media, so shout out to her.
She's awesome.
Obviously shout out to Seb and Haley and Giles and Yolanda and
Yeah.
everybody and Paul, like everybody on the staff of Pride, and you've done an incredible job here. We just wanted to open the show and just talk about that, Luis. So if you could show us our rundown for the
Yeah, for
rest of
sure.
the show,
Today will be. Oh wait, hold on.
I'm gonna
Uh,
literally pop bottles, Luis.
yeah, same here. We're gonna have a little beer here,
Here we go.
with my with
The
my
shield party is officially starting.
with my pride koozie right there. So thank you. Cheers to everybody that's watching. It's a celebration,
Cheers to
guys.
you all.
Hurricane party. You know. Um, we're definitely going to be talking about the NWSL Shield party that we had last Sunday. It was an amazing night. We're going to review the Washington win, undefeated season. Is it feasible? Are we going to be the 72 Dolphins of the soccer world? We could. Preview the Thorns. Yeah, we're going to be
Here we go.
previewing Portland
This might be
Thorns.
loud.
That
Woo!
yeah, you're a pro at that, man. I botched that.
Is
Um,
that a good thing? I don't know.
well, I had it almost hit my eye one time.
I've got like a fancy champagne
Oh,
glass,
there you go. Look
like
at
I'm Great
that.
Gatsby or something. Look at this.
I
Cheers, all you
mean,
Pride fans. Cheers, everybody.
yeah, there you
Congrats.
go. There you go. Cheers, guys. So definitely, we have the review and the preview of the Thorns, the game against the Thorns that's coming up. Which now we're definitely have. If we had the biggest target on our back before, now we have like a hurricane kind target on our back for sure.
Don't say
So
that.
yeah. So, anyways, we have some comments right here. It says Jay Texas celebrating. It says thank you so much. All of sad words. Watching from hurricane evacuation. This is the most Florida week ever, to be honest. Rough night for Washington. Hope the best for Andy Sullivan. There you go. Pulling smoke at full time. I'm assuming it was a great time, even though I was freaking freezing in the rain. Oh yeah, I mean, trust me, I had to. It was tough to record of your phone, and with a, I had like a little stick, that I put my phone on, and that thing kept slipping out, and it was the toughest thing because it was wet and it kept falling. And then I had a microphone, and then I had to put a jacket on because it was raining, and I had a shirt that I had to take out. It was a whole mess, but we made it work. It says, there you go. LM Orlando, curious what you asked Marta post game interview and what she responded. There you go. Oh yeah. Sorry, I got your message, but I was like trying to get stuff ready for the hurricane. But pretty much, I said, this team has gone through ups and downs. In Portuguese, ups and downs, and it's all translated there on the video. It's all gone through ups and downs. What makes this team now be on the level that it is? What was that change, that turning point that you said that like you knew this is when the light bulb is going to go on and it's never going to shut off this whole entire season. And so Marta responded that it was mainly them going into that run at the end, and then pretty much finding those sequences and those connections within the team, and they just became they love each other. Like, I mean, they're very united for that common goal. Every single player, zero ego, zero egos. Like, there's
You
no
gotta
ego.
go LM onto the Loud and Proud Orlando. Go on our YouTube channel and watch that whole press conference because it's amazing. It's so good.
This is
Don't you think, Luis?
the master plan. I have two more comments. The Peruvian Landon Donovan called John Dez is ready to play in the MLS. He's an outstanding player. He would be a promoter of Bud Light. Like, there you go. This guy from my other pod. Jennifer, yeah, I got no videos, unfortunately. I wanted to make a TikTok. There you go. Anyways, just kind of talk about a little bit of the review of the game. It was a 2-0 win against the Spirit. There was an own goal by Tara McCown, I believe, and yeah, and Carrie Abel and Angelina were back in the starting lineup. That was for starters. I think they make a huge difference. I don't know. What are your thoughts about Angelina and Carrie Abello in this game?
I mean, yeah, they came on. I mean, the first half was just a lot of fouling from the Washington Spirit. Let's be honest, like they
Yeah.
just couldn't handle us, and every time Banda, Marta, or Rafaeli or we get away, they just bring us down, and it just kind of seemed a bit cynical, a little bit cheap, like they didn't really have much of a game plan. And then in the second half, pretty early, Seb made those subs, I believe, right? I can't remember the exact minute. And yeah, from there, I mean, that's like an attacking move, right? We brought off Carson Pickett, who was a left back playing left wing. So then we put on an actual left winger in Julie Doyle. And then we also brought off, who was it? Morgan for Angelina, right? No, I can't remember. But anyway, regardless, he made the right subs. And it worked out.
So in the lineup, I was the starting lineup was Anna Morehouse, Corey Dykes, Emily Sams, Callie Strom, and Carabello, which I feel like this is gonna be our back line till the end of the season. Angelina on the left, double pivot actually. Angelina Morgan. Angelina on the left, Morgan on the right. Adriana as 10.
He brought off Morgan for Summer, which was a very
Correct.
attacking
Morgan
move.
for
That was the
Summer.
one. Yeah.
That's right.
And then Carson for Julie. So we kind of took off two more defensive players for two attacking players.
And then
And I feel
Carson
like that really changed the game quite a
And then
lot.
Carson was on the left, and then Marta was on the right, and then up front, Barbara Banda. Yeah, the referee Danielle Chesky, she was letting Washington, get away with a lot of fouling. It was pretty. It was Stainbrook and Sullivan, and also Courtney Brown. They were fouling a lot throughout the first half. 51% possession for the Pride in the whole entire game. 48% for Washington. Now 16 total shots for the Pride, 4 on target out of 16. You know what I mean? That a little bit. I mean, it wasn't the most.
We needed a breakthrough, right? And that
Correct.
came in the form of Marta's penalty, which should have been a red card, don't you think, Luis? In my opinion, I mean,
Yeah, it should have been a red
there
card
was a bunch
for
of
sure.
fouls, and then that one is she's last man. You take her down from behind. You know, it's just not. It should have been a red card in my opinion. I don't understand why that's
So
not.
22 fouls Washington had in this game. 22. And you know how many yellow cards? You probably think like what, five?
Not nearly enough. I tell you that.
Three yellow cards. And you know how many fouls that the Pride got
22
the whole.
fouls is wild, man. That's
Yeah,
wild.
but listen, how many fouls the Pride made? Are you ready? The whole entire
Like
game.
6.
6.
What a guess. But yeah, that's yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
guarantee
that
you,
whole
and I
first half
guarantee
was
you,
probably like at
yep.
least half of those fouls, surely.
And I guarantee you they weren't as intense as the fouls that Washington made.
And I think also it just was the situations they were making them in, like a professional foul once or twice, but it was like every time we got a breakaway, they would just bring down one of our players. It was, and some of the fouls were quite nasty. And Marta got really upset. There was a whole moment
Yeah, for
there
sure.
where her and the ref had to like come over and talk to her. And, you know, I just think it showed, Luis, like we talked about, that the Spirit were seriously diminished. Like when they did get attacking chances, I mean, they had some a few here and there, but it was. Did you ever really feel like we were going to lose this game?
No.
And like, I didn't want to feel, cocky or whatever, but like we said going into this, okay, they were without these players, it's going to be a bit easier. Of course, they want to make it tough, whatever. But at the end of the day, it didn't feel like 1 versus 2.
No, they came out. The Pride came out with that high press from the beginning of the game, and that a lot of teams have no response to it. I just feel like it just takes them by surprise how fast they are onto the press. Like they get the ball, and then already you got Banda and you got everybody coming to you. So I feel like they don't have that time to react. The only thing I do want to say is they got to get better with executing. I mean, they created so many chances in the first half, dude. Like they should have been up like 2 to 3-0, easy. And I felt there was times in which Banda, and again, Banda is a Ballon d'Or, probably a Ballon d'Or winner. But here I'm a journalist, so I'm gonna say like it is. I feel she has a tough time deciding either I'm going to shoot or I'm going to take the 1v1 or I'm going to pass it. There was 2 instances in which she was literally almost 1v1 with the keeper, and Adriana was complete like she was like, "Hey, hello, I'm right here on the right, man." And those could have been easy poaching goals. Yeah, yes. Adriana, if she would have scored those 2, she would have had a hat trick, right? Or almost a hat trick, because one was on the own goal. But either way, I just feel like those chances, like those are the type of things that take you from, okay, we won the Shield, all the good stuff, regular season, and then when you're actually is death, either go through or dying, type of thing, get rich or die trying type of thing. You got to score those. Like you got to score those, because a team like Kansas, a team like maybe Bay, of the counter with players, or even players like people from Bay and all that stuff, like they could score. Even LA with Lisa Thompson and things like that. From the wing, so they're not going to miss those chances. So
No, I mean, I don't think it was a perfect game, but
yeah.
I think, considering that that's 1 versus 2, it didn't like,
No, we
it didn't
were
look like
smart,
that.
of
You
course
know what
we
I mean?
could.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's why I feel like definitely the fight, the game that we're going to have against Gotham, right, at some point is going to be, or the game that we had against Kansas City, for me, feels a little bit more like where the better, like the Spirit definitely on a down at the moment. So it was, a great occasion. But hey, I mean, at the end of the day, Luis, when that first goal from Martha went in, it was like, oh my God, this thing is happening. And then the second goal, it just kind of felt like, all right, now we're just waiting for the ref to blow the whistle. And then it was, what a surreal moment when that happened. And they bringing all the things on, and there's the shield ceremony on the field. Just incredible, right, Luis? I mean, it's just, yeah, you haven't seen it in a long time for this team.
No, for
So
sure.
it was an incredible sight to see, and
It
I
was
was
it was
overjoyed.
a it was a perfect game for Marta as well. I
Yeah,
mean,
the
she
rain
was
tried to ruin things, man, but it was not possible.
yeah. I mean, you have she was top three in shots total shots. She had three total shots the whole game. Five for Adriana, five for Barbara Banda. She was top two in shots on target, so she had one shot on target. She created three chances in transition, so she was top two there alongside Carson Pickett, which she also had a great game in my opinion. I think she did so. She's doing so great.
It
Like
was
it was
cool to see
it
left
I
wing.
I feel it's been such a refreshing pickup for the Pride. It just made so much sense. I do want to give kudos to the front office because I mean that was a really great pickup. Like Pickett is one of those players that could change the course of a game when like the game's in a bide. Like one great phenomenal cross with a left, like it could turn it around. And I think today she was pretty well in this game. She was pretty close. Three chances created. Another great game. Emily Sam's phenomenal game. In the back line, 58 completed passes. So overall, I mean, what I'm trying to say is like defense and offense. Defense right now is winning games for the Pride. Offense is doing obviously its part, but if the defense has a great night, the Pride could easily score one or two on you without you even noticing.
Well, I think lots of things that make us very difficult to beat. One, we can play different ways. Like
Yep.
sometimes we go to different places and we'll sit back and we won't want to like try and possess the ball and play a high line as much. Whereas at home, that's typically how we play. That we're flexible in that way. We're also flexible in the fact that we can score from multiple different players, right? Barbara did score this one again. Earlier in the season, everyone's like, "Oh, well, Pride is, if Barbara's not hot, then they're not going to be able to do it." Like, well, we've done it with Barbara
Yeah,
not
we
scoring
won the
recently.
shield.
Like,
Yeah.
there's so many threats. Like, you can't keep Marta and Adriana and Julie Doyle and Barbara and
And
Summer
Ali
Yates
Watt,
and
like off the
Angelina
bench.
and Ali Watt, and you can't keep them all quiet. So one of them's going to get some space and time and have that ability to make a good quality finish or create a goal. So that's the other thing. And then the last thing is that the defense 100% wins us, because even when we're having trouble in the attack, the defense is so reliable that we are like end up in a game like the Bay FC game, right? The attack was not going well, but the defense was, struggling at times, yes, but still not letting goals in. And then we managed to get one late with Barbara Banda and win a game that we could have lost on another day. And that's what makes this team so great right now, is the fact that they just, like Marta said it, like there's that grit and determination. Kylie Strom said it in the press conference as well, but talking about the KC game when they went down to 10 and they were like, we're not going to lose. It's that mentality. Seb and the whole team has got that mentality of just like, we're going to win. So, and when you think like that, a lot of time that comes out in your actions. And that's really why I felt going into this game of the week is like, well, it's at home, seeing how they play at home against Washington, everything on the line. They're gonna go out and do what they always done this season, and I can't imagine that's gonna change going forward. So I think that really puts us in a good place for the postseason as well. I mean, we talk about the field here, but Seb is always reminding us, like there's more to be done, as we'll look ahead to the future in a bit.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on to what you say, it's not just you know even let's say Morgan, right? That you would say, hey, and I do want to say this, yeah, maybe she wasn't as fast as maybe Haley McCutcheon, right? But she had a great game. I mean, overall, if you balance the positives and the negatives, and maybe, her maybe not being as fast as Haley, and kind of Washington coming in behind her and trying to get that ball away, she still was able to hold them back and able to pass it back enough that then Sam's or even Kylie Strom could like take the ball and just, she will regain composure. Those things, I feel like those little things, those little details make a huge difference, because you don't really miss the Haley presence right there in the mid. Because if Morgan is playing at this level against Washington, I mean, she's gonna definitely play at this level against anyone. And so that's, I think, what makes Orlando Pride so unpredictable. Like you said, Morgan coming in and excelling, having a phenomenal game. Then you have, hey, welcome back, Carriabello. Boom, great game. You know,
There's no
uh,
drop off, Luis.
there's no drop off.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like the next player up mentality
It's,
is in perfect example here.
even
And
saw it
whenever they're called upon, they step up and
we,
perform.
we even saw it with Corey Dyke, and we even saw it with Matt Crone. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, even Matt Crone, that maybe you don't see her a lot. Boom, massive penalty saves, all crazy stuff at the Summer Cup, and it was a phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal game overall, John. We have some words from Marta. I don't know if you want to listen to the words from Marta real quick.
For sure, we should play this. It's great.
Wow, it mean a lot. Like I say, like on the field, after the game, we've been worked so hard, like from beginning, and every single game, and then we look for have this moment, and especially here in our house, in front of our fans and families and friends. It's like unbelievable. Something that I dream about, but to be honest, like never believe that gonna happen, like indeed, like the way that we did. So
So she didn't know this was gonna happen the way it did. That's pretty much she said. Like, she's being super, super honest. I mean,
I don't think anybody knew it was gonna
I
happen.
no one
Like
knew,
Seb
you
was,
know.
we were prepared for like a. I was very hopeful of like a top four finish or like at least playoffs for this team this year, right? Like we were talking at the beginning of the season, Luis. There's no way we thought, okay, they're gonna win it, and not only they're gonna win it, like oh, they're gonna win it in the style that they've done, in the fashion that they have is just they're getting comparisons with the like you made it with the that was the Bulls, right? Who was it? The
No, it was
96
72
Bulls, the
Dolphins. You got
72
the Chicago
Dolphins,
Bulls. Yeah, I
Chicago
mean,
Bulls.
well, I
Like
mean, the
I
Chicago,
the Arsenal one for me is the Invincibles
yeah,
season, so there's so many comparisons and that to be put in that echelon of a team that is like not only did you win, but you won not losing a single game. That there's you probably can only count teams in soccer on that we
exactly.
would
That's what
know,
I'm
right? Like
saying.
on one
It's
hand, like famous teams that have done this throughout history. Not many, not many at all.
look, I'm putting on Lisbon Benvin football club seasons. All right, so there's a few. The most there's a lot from Africa and things like that, but if we go from Europe, let's say, for example, Europe, are you ready? AC Milan in 1991, 34 matches, no losses.
I didn't know
Ar-
that one. That's cool.
Arsenal in 2003, which I'm sure that you know that.
Yeah, that's the Invincibles.
That's the
Thierry
Invincible.
Henry and
No,
um,
I should have known this
Freddie
one. I
Ljungberg
remember
and
this.
all those guys.
Juventus in 2011 in Serie A, 38 games.
Yeah, I remember
Yep.
that.
And also another, I can't believe I really missed this, and because this made Brandon Rodgers come to Premier League. Celtic 2016, 47 games, no losses under Brendan Rodgers.
And then you got the Liverpool job.
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
Bayern Leverkusen and Xavi Alonso, 2023 Bundesliga winners, undefeated, 28
I don't
matches.
count that, Luis. That's too easy.
Come on, man.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Right? So,
I think also it has to be understood like how competitive NWSL is. Like that's the thing too. It's not like we're like Bayern, right? Are one of the best teams in their league, and if they did it, you'd be like, oh, okay, they just had an incredible season. They're an incredible team. This is like we have beaten every team. Like we haven't lost even to the top teams in the league. That's the insane part. Like we haven't lost to the Caseys and the Washingtons and the Gothams this year when everybody else had, and all of them have lost to each other too. We
no,
just didn't.
I believe, and I do want to say, and I think I'm correct here. I'm looking at this. I think there's no women's soccer team ever in history that has won their league undefeated.
No, well, I mean, like obviously the internationals, like they win a World Cup technically, like that's undefeated. But we're talking about club soccer.
No, I'm talking about club soccer. Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's no
club
women.
soccer.
Yeah, there's no women club soccer team that has won undefeated, like has won the league undefeated. I have the data of the North America for soccer in general. There's only been like teams that have won their league undefeated. You're gonna laugh at these teams. Honduras, Club Olimpia in 1969, 27 matches, no losses. In Cuba, the Sport Club Villa, 22 games in 1987, no losses. El Salvador, FAS, 18 matches, no losses in 2003. Antigua and Bermuda, SAP, 18 games, no losses. And that's it. And that's it. And I mean, and I think that's for the whole entire region. So Orlando Pride, I mean, if they win it like that, I mean, it's literally they're gonna etch themselves in history.
Yeah.
Just overall, like
the record's already been set. Might not be broken for a very long time, like Anna's, for example. And I mean, we haven't even talked about the fact that we are on a year of undefeated because it goes back all the way to. So we're in 365 days and more, Luis, of being undefeated. So there's records here and it could be extended. I mean, I think if we go these last few games still undefeated and end the season undefeated, it might not be broken in the time that we ever, it might be 30, 40 years before something like that, or if it ever does get broken again in that way. So they're setting down stuff to say this could be the most successful NWSL season by any team ever.
I completely agree because I'm looking at the I'm just googling. You guys could do the same thing. I'm beating women's soccer teams. I'm beating in history, and the only thing that comes up is NCAA records. NCAA like colleges. There's really not a professional soccer team, a women's professional soccer team that has won their league undefeated. And I mean, if this club does it, if Orlando does it, I mean, talk about the prestige that they're going to bring to the city. I mean, talking about like Orlando, people that live in Central Florida always bickering and complaining about, oh, we're not a championship city, man. Like, and here we are, like, on the verge of winning a major championship, undefeated. Like, that is insane. Like, I honestly never thought that this was going to happen in my lifetime, but it is happening now. And, we're definitely proud to say that the Orlando Pride is, to me, the most successful soccer club right now in Central Florida. Jennifer, yeah, I got no videos. Unfortunately, I wanted to make a TikTok. Ali Watt was also asking the tough questions. This is Jay Texas. There you go.
Yeah,
that was amazing. I just love the fact that they took the shield with them after that.
I love Seb's response. Like, Yes, yes, right. It's like the most British response. English,
Oh
typical
yeah.
English, typical Northern English man. Like, you having a good time? Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Yeah, not too bad. Just won the shield. Yeah, that's all right.
Jay Texas Chesky always letting the game get rough with fouls. There you go. JCB's winners, not just everyone. Great game from the Pride and well-deserved supporter shield winners. There you go, JCB's. Thank you so much for your support. Now, Seb
Only
Hines.
3 games left, Luis. It
Yeah,
almost feels like the season was over on Sunday night, but no, there's 3 games left. It's crazy to me that we have 1 game left of MLS, but 3 games left of NWSL at this point in the year. It's the schedules are very strange.
well, I mean, that's going to essentially happen with we're gonna have to cover more women's soccer, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean we're going all the way till November with the regular season, and then yeah,
Yeah,
and playoffs in throughout November. So it's gonna be, an away trip here to Portland Thorns, Luis. They just went on this Monday to Portland, so they've got out for the Hurricane, which is great.
that's great. I mean, Portland is beautiful. I mean, I'm sure they're enjoying it over there.
Yeah. So we will be playing them on Friday night, 10 o'clock for us. So quite a late one, obviously, with the old West Coast time difference. And they have been struggling as of late, Luis.
Yeah,
I
they
would say.
they
Uh,
lost against the
ooh,
Royals.
let me show you this. Ooh,
They lost
ooh.
against the Royals, which is like
This is bad here. Look at this. The Portland Thorns. I mean, yeah. Apart from teams not in NWSL, they and what was this? A tie against Angel City, I think. They've
yeah.
lost. Yeah, a tie against Angel City. They've lost. Yeah, every game for a while. It's their experiment with their new manager has hit a road bump, to say the least. I mean, losing to Utah Royals 2-1. What do you got to say about that, Luis?
They have not been able to get young. I'm sorry I'm gonna say that, but that's my first assessment. You got. I mean, they have not been able to get young, and I just feel like that's the way the game's being played now. You gotta get younger, you gotta get hungrier, you gotta have no egos. I mean, that's the Pride. That's the Pride way, and that's the what the Pride are actually brewing. You gotta understand, like Utah is right now looking and seeing, if the Pride have done it like this, hey, you know, like a lot of people are gonna start following what the Pride is doing. And that's I feel like that's what the Thorns have one thing that the Pride doesn't have, which is they've played against FC Barcelona before in an official match. They've played against European teams. They've represented the league in the past. They're 3-time champs. They have the everything in set to be a successful club. It's just that right now the players are just not they're not motivated and not delivering, and they're some of them playing really distasteful soccer, and it's just the bottom line. They're kind of like the old the it's kind of like the torn page in your journal or your diary. You just they're not really doing much, and I think they need a spark of adrenaline in order for them to save their season now. Definitely, if they, God forbid, knock on wood, if they get a good result against the Orlando Pride, and they're the ones who finally slay the Pride Dragon, hopefully not. They're gonna. That's their championship right there. I mean,
I
they're gonna
mean,
actually want to add a star on their crest, saying, "Hey,
we
that that,
beat the
that
Pride
for a lot of teams, that's what's gonna be."
for sure, but I take solace in the fact that Utah Royals had 21 shots
Crazy.
against them. Like,
It's
yo,
crazy. Yeah.
you shouldn't be losing at home to Utah Royals at this stage of the season. Anyway, that
Yep.
is if that was us and
Yep.
we were in their position at this point, we would be
Mhm.
really upset with that result at this point in the season against that team.
Mhm.
And I think the Portland Thorns fans should be disappointed with this season because
Definitely.
it's not gone well, and obviously they've had injuries and stuff. And but yeah, 21 shots, giving up two big chances to the Utah Royal. No, they're it's just not a good performance. It says to me that another team, Luis, that's got holes, another team that we can go exploit. I mean, yeah, there's something about this point in the season right now where I consider like the top four teams in another bracket than the rest of the teams in the league. And so if you're not like really up here, if you're not us, Washington, Gotham, or Kansas, and maybe North Carolina, probably not. I think any of these teams down here, we we can comfortably beat. And that's not being excessive. That's just playing the way that we are at the moment, Luis. Do you feel like us going to Portland, is going to be more of a challenge or less of a challenge than what we've seen recently?
No,
It's
obviously,
not going to be as difficult as Washington Spirit in theory.
we should not underestimate Portland because they're also working
Not
themselves.
underestimate, but relativity is what I'm talking
No,
about.
no. Obviously, our momentum is massive, and yeah, we need to go there to kill them in the first 15 minutes, and we have the firepower to do so. So I agree with you on that sense. But we also have to go with the same mentality as we've done every single game the past few games. It's just being humble game by game, and Seb has been very vocal about that. Humble game by game, respecting the rival, and because I mean you gotta understand, like I said, they also play, and so they could wake up in this game and just play the best game they've had in the whole entire season.
I don't disagree. I just think that if we keep doing what we've
Yeah,
been doing,
I agree.
then this
Yeah.
season, I think they're so focused on the next thing and the next, and I feel like they celebrated for a day or so, and then it was, Monday it was like back to work because this thing's not done. And so I feel like that's as long as we keep that mentality, then we'll see out these last
And
three
and I got
games the same way that we have the rest of the season.
and like you said, I got
But
that
we
sense.
can't take our eyes off the ball just because we won the Shield. There's more there.
Yeah, I mean they said it on the post press conference. We're not done yet. I mean, we're not done yet. Yeah, we celebrate, we laugh. We're gonna drinking some brewskis here and there. Party a little bit here, not too much because then we gotta catch a plane. But we're not done. And even Marta said it on the thing that I asked her in Portuguese. That question I asked her in Portuguese. So we have three objectives. One, go to playoffs. Done. Two, win the Shield. Done. Three, you guys know the third one. That's what she said. You guys know the third one. You know, so they're not done yet. Now as a club and as a team, getting to the top in this massive successful season that even Marta said, I don't know if this is going to be replicated ever again. And she even said it in the press conference, like, I don't know if this is going to be replicated ever again. But, teams are going to try, and the Pride's going to try as well to replicate it. And then you can have like what we called a dynasty, like, which I thought, like, you got markets like Orlando, like LA, New York, Chicago. You got the dynasties, right? Even Miami with the LeBron and the D Wades in basketball. But Orlando having a dynasty, they tried to do it with Dwight Howard, didn't work out with the Magic. The Prime maybe having something brewing. that we don't know about. I mean, I'm just getting too excited right now, John. But it would be cool for them to win. You imagine winning 2 seasons undefeated back to back?
Well, I see people talking about the question of Marta, and the end of the season's coming, and her her contract is not renewed, and there are questions. There was a article done by Steph Yang on the Athletic with her, interviewing her, asking several things. I feel like the title is a little bit misleading because she's put Orlando Pride's Marta says she wants to play at least 2 more years. But then if you actually read the quote, she says, I don't know if I'm going to be in Orlando, but my thought is like to play at least 2 more years. Right. But then lower down, she talks about, oh, I feel good. I decided to stay here for long, though I need to get through the situations year by year. I came to Orlando because I want to be close to my country, be close to my friends and family, be able to see them a little bit more often. I came here, then I met good people, the community. It's amazing. We have almost everybody here from Latino to Europe. So I feel very comfortable with this. And I started to visualize my life here in Orlando, not just for 1 or 2 years, but for a long time. So I think there's, I think I don't know if this is misleading or what,
A
but
little clickbait.
I'm not gonna say that, but it's like for me when you read that the whole thing it's a question of okay, like yeah, I'm not under contract right
Was
now, and
was
and she
was
hasn't maybe made that decision yet, right?
I
But it
think she
doesn't
was.
scream to me like she wants to go play elsewhere, like the title suggests.
Yeah, yeah. I think she's in. I think she was with us in the press box in this game. In this game, very quiet, by the way. She didn't talk to us whatsoever. She didn't talk to me. But
Yeah, I'm not trying to point fingers or anything. I'm just
no, no,
saying
no.
that
I just think that too. I mean,
it's undecided. I think regardless, she clearly states in here that she feels very at home in Orlando
yeah,
and talks about wanting to stay in Orlando.
I agree. I
So
agree. I mean,
why, I think
she pretty much in a way is hinting that she may want to stay 2 more years with us.
I, I would hope. I mean, we don't know the situation, but you would hope that it's a question of when Martha says, yes, I'm
Right.
happy to do that and sign a contract. Like,
And
I can't imagine we're not willing to offer Martha a
all
contract
I'm
for
saying
another couple of
is,
years.
and to say it in a perspective, um, honestly, Marta, she played. I think her the country the Brazil. So she came from. Okay, so she came from Vasco da Gama, which was their Vasco was is their the team that she came from in the 2000s. 16 appearances, 4 goals. Um, and then she also played in Santos in Brazil in Pelé's team. 14 games, 26 goals in 14 games. Now she went to Gold Pride in New York, right? Which it was mentioned in the post press conference. Now, I do want to say I don't see her going to the Brazilian league and women's league. I mean, it's just because number one, it doesn't pay you what the NWSL pays you or what the club pays you. She's already her name recognition is worth more here than over there. Um, Not only that, I mean, she's like you said, it's kind of like a Galesa situation. She's so comfortable here, it doesn't really make sense her playing anywhere else. You know, so you know, I'll
I
take the.
mean, I hope she stays, man. I mean, we'll see. I can't imagine that. I think if she wants to play on, hopefully it's here. And if she wants to retire
In
and
the end, it's
become a
gonna be.
coach or like a
Yeah,
do player coach for a couple of
she
years,
would be a phenomenal coach.
I would say if she's like, I am done playing, but I don't want to leave, we'll be like, sign her up as an assistant coach, attacking coach Martha. Let's go. I'm all about like
You imagine
whatever we
her.
do, like or
You,
ambassador or whatever she wants to. I don't. It doesn't matter.
you imagine
Keep her
her.
in around the club. Keep her
y-
as somebody that like Miguel that is still here. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want Marta to leave our
I
world. And
agree.
the way that she's talking about Orlando, it doesn't sound to me like
Yeah, yeah.
she has any desire to.
To leave.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and where else to to start coaching than here and learn with Seb, and like I'm sure she's coaching without coaching at the moment.
I'm sure.
She is.
100%.
She's
100%.
I don't know if she's working on her licenses or anything like that, but she's doing the mentoring and all of that. And yeah, I just really hope that she
Look,
stays around regardless of what
at
happens.
at
But
her
she
at
might want to retire on top, and that would make 100% sense to me.
it would be a huge asset for the Orlando Pride to keep her in some sort of level. And not only that, for the NWSL in general. I mean, just having Marta present in the league, it's an honor. I mean,
What
it's
about commentator Marta? Ooh,
no, she'll be
I would love that.
she'll be hilarious.
That would be
She'll
so good.
she'll have those moments like come on, man, like come on, like she'll go off. That'll be
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. She'd
That'll
be
be awesome.
she's too emotional to be a commentator, I think,
No,
Martha. Yeah, she's too passionate for
yeah.
that.
JCB says, when us don't no, we read that the expansion draft really hurt Portland. They took away important players. Says Jay, Texas.
Do you have anything else to say on Portland, Luis, and
No, we just
our trip away? I mean,
just like you. I mean, we have every single weapon to win this game.
yeah,
Fairly easy. But again, I do
yeah.
respect Portland as a team.
We can't, like, we have settled season. Nothing
Yeah,
comes easy to this
I
team, but
I respect Portland as a team,
yeah,
as an organization. What they have meant to the sport and to elevate the sport in the United States, the women's soccer in the United States. I have mad respect for that. You know, you know. So
yeah,
so we'll treat him like that, game by game, like Seth said. So they're not done yet. So
for sure. And then after that, just Gotham and Seattle Reign left
Gotham is
standing in
gonna
our
be
way.
tough.
God,
Gotham is gonna be tough.
Gotham looking probably like the second hottest team in NWSL right now. I think, you know, when you say, I think they've been on a hell of a run recently.
Yeah, I mean they have
They won like every game in NWSL. Well, they drew with Kansas City, but that was at Kansas City. That's not a bad result at all. So yeah, they've been impressing for sure. And obviously they're a team full of stars, and if they can keep enough of their stars healthy, then they're really dangerous.
So before I do want to say before the Kansas City game, I'm going to share this. Before the Kansas City game, Gotham had another pretty big game for the CONCACAF Women's Champions
Oh
Cup,
yeah, I saw this.
and
I saw the highlights of this, and that meme of, like, is it the
what?
Simpsons thing where he's like,
Yeah,
"Stop, he's dead already." Like, somebody posted that, and I was like, yes, that's it.
like come on,
Fraser's whip got
you got
whipped.
you even get Jasmine Ryan
Our
scoring a hat
team. I
trick.
feel like they should have, like, if it's 10-0 in soccer, just call the game. Like, everyone just go home. Like,
You got
this
Lynn
is just
Williams
brutal.
scoring 4 goals, man.
Yo, like, at what point do you just be like, let's just take our foot off the gas? Because I don't know.
Now,
It's
this is the thing that
it
disgusted.
must be really bad because you can't be trying that hard once you get to like 8. You know what I mean?
This has to get better. And again, I do want to say this. I don't know if this is controversial or not, and I know it may be a utopian thing, but in the men's, there's always this thing that they say, "Hey, why can't some Concacaf teams make the decision to play with CONMEBOL teams and just like they used to in the 90s and the early 2000s? The Mexican teams will come and play against Copa Libertadores, sometimes even reach the final, like Pachuca. I think they played the final of Copa Sudamericana in 2004 or 2005, I believe. 2009, I believe. No, yeah, 2009. So why it'd be cool to see Pride, Gotham, Kansas going and playing against, like, Corinthians All these teams that honestly are at a higher level than Frazier's whip. You know what I mean? It sounds like cool whip. It's just gonna elevate. I mean, the travel is gonna be a little bad, but it's kind of like flying from here to Denver. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna, it's not as bad as flying to California, but it's gonna be like flying to Denver. So I just think it would be a great experience not only for the players, for the league. The league will be like shown in South America. People will maybe get hooked and like the NWSL over there. I don't know if CONCACAF Women's is able to do that, and I don't think they'll probably do because they want to cash in into all the revenue. But it would be cool. I'm just saying, it'd be cool to kind of
Well,
elevate the competition so you don't have these embarrassing results. I mean, I feel bad for Frazier's Whip, man.
I mean, we should be in CONCACAF Women's 2024.
I know,
I
I
mean, I
know,
don't know how they do the qualification, but if it's not the Shield winner, then that sucks.
I know.
I
We're not
mean,
gonna see Inter Miami.
it's got to be it's got to be surely winning Shield is one of the qualifying factors for. I have to look it up. I'm not sure. I haven't looked up
I have
much on the
to.
women's
So that means
CONCACAF.
that John, me and you are gonna go to like Honduras and stuff.
Yo, man.
Let's go, man.
I'm all for that. Let's go watch us whip Frazier's whip
Let's
20
go.
to
Let's go.
nothing.
Let's go. Let's go to Jamaica, man. Jamaica, Jamaica.
Yeah, right. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean it's we are now in that conversation, Luis. We are a top North American side.
exactly. Yeah, top North American side, and honestly, it'd be cool in the off season. Again, I am nobody to say anything, but it'll be cool, like dream matches. You know what I mean? Orlando Pride against Tampa Bay Sun. I-4 Derby, boom, friendly, and you hug each other, take pictures together, blah, blah, blah. Orlando Pride against FC Barcelona, or playing in Europe against Arsenal or Chelsea women, like it would be just cool. I know that they're going to try to poach some of our players. I know for a fact, but I honestly don't think that they can compete with the NWSL. I feel like the level. I don't know. How do you feel about that? The level of play in the women's game over there in England compared to here in the US.
I think there are some very good teams.
Similarities.
Like I think there are a few I think the parity across NWSL is better. I think there are
Yeah.
better teams at
Uh
NWSL.
huh.
I think the Women's Super League, is that the right word? I get them all mixed up, the names. The Women's Super League, I believe, is that one. It's more like, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, and then you're struggling outside of that,
What
and
about Alicia Lemon? She in West
the
Ham.
layman, she left for Juve with Douglas Luiz. But the lower end of those teams, I think would probably be worse than I think the Utah Royals would beat like Leicester City comfortably, is what I'm saying, right? So I think there are like a top 4 or 5 really good English teams, 100%, and they are very good. They're like Gotham level stacked of players from the English national team and Germany and France. But I think the quality of teams and the amount of quality players in NWSL is better. There might be some players in women's, like the French league and the German league that are better players than we have in NWSL, but they're not. I think the standard overall, once you get to those other clubs, really drops off. Whereas we have a bit more of a fair parity and a bit more like of even based competition, in my opinion.
No, I want to ask you this because you know the game in Europe better. There's this thing about, I've seen a lot of fans from the UK and Europe following Orlando City and doing the whole thing. Like, wouldn't be also good for the NWSL to market like England and Germany and Switzerland? I mean, it is a pretty attractive league. I mean, the level of play has every year it improves. I mean, I feel like every year it gets better. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
think
think
it'd
it's
be
interesting to see the women's sports and the growth,
yeah.
and obviously all of the money that's going to come, and what comes with adding stuff like the Champions League and et cetera, et cetera. But I think definitely the USA England connection. I think those two are the
Yeah.
strongest leagues and probably have some of the best players in the world. Like the World Cup, I imagine England are going to be
Hmm.
back with a
Pretty.
vengeance for
Yeah.
that one, and we could be looking at a late stage England USA matchup
Hmm.
in the World Cup. I just really rate that team. I think the Lionesses are a top quality, and I think the USA is only going to go one way as well. So the two countries are on a very similar projection with the way that they're doing women's soccer, both on the club level and the national team. There's a lot of similarities there. And I think you'll see players that go between the two. I'm sure Barbara Bander will get offers from the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal. And, I'm sure those teams will come over here and look at the Pride team and want to, if I'm the GM of Arsenal and I want a left back, I'm going to come asking for Carrie Abello because, whether Carrie is going to be interested, that's another question, right? Because you got to view it like, is this often in the men's game where we're constantly the the US level is just nowhere near. So it's always Europe is coming to steal your players. Whereas here, we've seen a lot of players this season in NWSL coming from Europe across and back the other way too. So it's much more even, and you see that kind of free exchange of players.
Yeah. Talking about a little bit about South America, the women's game is growth tremendously. I'm gonna say Colombia. It's to me their league. It's just short league. It's 3 months, but it's like top level. Like right now, Deportivo Cali is playing women's Copa Libertadores against my team Alianza Lima. They beat them the women's there, and but the game has elevated in Colombia, has elevated in Peru. I mean, the game has, and I wish honestly they had the chance to see the NWSL because those countries, especially the Colombians, the Peru, the Ecuadors, the Venezuelas, could see like, hey, like this is how they're doing it over there. Like, look where they're allocating the funds. What kind of like or it'd be cool to see like a partnership, like so they could like see the infrastructure the clubs in the NWSL have, so they're able to maybe in their own countries replicate some of the stuff that they have here that are able to elevate the game even more over there. And I mean, little by little, I mean, yeah, but for example, I asked journalists, colleagues of mine over there that cover the women's soccer, women's soccer for national teams usually more than anything, not so much clubs. And they're like, yeah, it's impossible to watch the United States Soccer League. It's just I just can't do it because of the whole like they don't know how to use the VP. They have to get a VPN and all that kind of stuff, and it's just not accessible. So it'd be cool to, and I'm sure that over there, especially in Colombia, in some of the countries where the women's sport is growing and they're getting a lot of crowds, I think the league will sell tremendously in those countries. Um, and there's no language barrier for soccer. That's a cool part about it. There's no language barrier for soccer. There's soccer everywhere. So, anyways, let's read some comments real quick. Jay, Texas expansion draft really hurt Portland. They took over important players. Was very happy to see Luana in the celebration as well, for sure. I mean, that was
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the week when they went to
special.
see her and
Yeah,
she rang the bell and then she was out in the field and the way they talked about her in the press conference, man, just, like, well,
and
if
this
if if she's out there, like, how do I feel? Like when I'm tired,
exactly,
it's
and that is
it
so
always puts in
motivating.
perspective, right? I mean, and they've done that. Like this year is not only have they faced adversity throughout the games, but just think about the injuries. I mean, we started out the season and
Simone
Luana and
Charlie,
Simone Charlie, and then we haven't had Viv, and Megan's
Megan.
been out the whole time. Like, and these other teams I hear all the time, like, oh well, Washington are missing this person and New York, and and I'm like, well, we've been missing players all season, on and off, and we've had injuries, and like I said, that it comes to that squad mentality, and that's where we differ in the sense that when we rely on our backups, they step up, and the quality doesn't drop off, right? I mean, I think you could see in that game against Washington, they outside of Kouassi, was it Kouassi had a pretty good game? She was
Yeah,
decent. Ashley Hatch had some moments, but
yeah.
it lacked for me. Outside of that, it really lacked for quality from them. So that's where I think we're different from any other team in the league.
I just feel like Luan is a warrior. She's showing them that she could overcome, what's happening to her, and
And
let,
we've
let-
made no speculations as to like if she's going to come back, when
yeah.
she's going to come back, what, like, you just don't.
Well,
Like, what are you
apparently,
going to do? So, but I would like the idea of seeing Luana on the field again for us would be incredible.
I will love it. I will.
So
I think she's a
I I
phenomenal.
hope that that's something that we can see one day.
Yeah, I think she's a phenomenal player. I think she's a player that was on the verge of being a starter in this team too. Alongside Haley McCutcheon, that double pivot was going to be better than Cartagena and Cesar Araujo. I mean, 30 times better. But unfortunately, things happen. She's she's been fighting this, and the team has seen her fight this and has motivated them. Like even Marta said, when I feel sore as hell because I just played Gotham and I really honestly want to tell the coach, hey, can I get there a little later, or like, hey, can I, I just think of Luana and what she's doing, and I just get off my ass and just go and practice.
Well, I
You
think
know,
all that adversity they've faced this year has just
it's
motivated
amazing,
them
man.
even more, Luis. So an incredible year
An amazing year,
for
man.
the Orlando Pride. And
Phenomenal.
thank you to all of you who have joined us on this journey, Luis, because of course we started this just this season, adding a Pride pod, and we had no idea what it was going to be like, or, how we would be received, or whether, we would be able to get a good audience, whether be able to have people like you coming in the chat and engaging with us and liking the social media and sharing and following and all that stuff. We took a chance making a Pride Pod this year. And, I'm glad we did, Luis,
Yeah.
because if we hadn't started Pride Pod this year, the whole season I'd be sitting here cursing the fact that we didn't do it. So I'm glad that we've been here to document this whole
No,
journey, and thank you to all of you who have been with us the whole year, supportive and understanding when we don't know stuff, or we get it wrong, or we make a mistake,
or we didn't read something.
or we didn't read something, yeah, or whatever, because we're
Too much
human,
soccer, no.
and yeah, our brains are mush most of the time. So thank you to all of you for being here. Really, it's been awesome, hasn't it, Luis?
No, I mean it's been look, we've as LPO, I've covered the Pride, and I got the chance and the pleasure to cover the Pride. It was the first team I was covering when I first started you know working on being a journalist, and this is the first team. Area Sports provided me the opportunity of doing that. I do want to thank Alonso in the beginning. We were with his outlet, and he's like, hey, you want to cover the Pride? I said, yeah, I'll cover the Pride. Never seen women's sports then. I did watch some of the Spanish Superliga at some point, but I wasn't really into it. But when I went and saw the Pride and I saw the fans and the passion they had, I'm like, yo, this is great. And yeah, things weren't good, but I could still see the passion in the fans. There's still the passion in the staff, which is honestly like the most impressive thing, like the way their hospitality, the way they were there in and out. Mark Thor, like my hats off for Mark. I mean, 9 years covering the Pride, like it's outstanding. So that stuff motivates you. And when we started LPO, I always wanted to give the Pride the the space that it deserved within the pod, and I never had the chance to do it because of time. And when John joined, that's the first thing that we both was like, yeah, let's do it, because it was like the season before this one, we were so close. We both were like talking about it, like, yeah, let's do it, let's make it happen, and we made it happen. And I wanted to thank every single one of you for, like John said, to welcome us with open arms, and obviously putting up with our shenanigans. But again, we do it with the point of just talking about soccer and not differentiating if it's women or men's. I think we treat it as just one sole sport, and that's what it is in the end. And that's what we try to convey. At first, I personally didn't know if I was going to be accepted because it came from the city side. But I'm thankful to every single person that I've met, especially on the Pride events that I've been to. So it has a great thing going, and it's going to continue. So I know that this whole atmosphere of winning and knowing how to win, and the way just the Pride has won this year, it's been with so much respect to the rival. It's unbelievable. It's like they're winning clean. Like there's nothing weird about any other Pride's wins or winning. We know about fouling a lot or by dirty tactics. No, nothing. It's being clean, dude. Like clean, respecting the rival. Like it's phenomenal season. I'm glad that John's here, and he's contributed so much to this as well. I think more than I've ever I ever thought. And he's also keeping me in check too with some of the points that I had to touch here on the pod. So he's been a huge part, and I know you guys. We're trying to put in the content for you guys, and you guys are the biggest part to make this grow. So I thank you guys for your support, and we're gonna continue doing the same thing year after year, hopefully. So, John, anything you want to add? Sorry, I got a little sappy. I was starting to cry.
No, that's good. It's the Shield party, man. We gotta reflect on what a wonderful year we've had. I don't really have anything else to say. I mean, obviously Portland on the weekend. Everybody get your tickets for the MLS. Sorry, the
Oh,
MLS, the NWSL playoff. Already the quarterfinal. Get your tickets for that. The date will be announced at some point. I think it's probably either like the 10th or the 11th of November, I believe. Or sorry, the 9th or 10th of November,
yeah.
most likely.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, we're gonna try to cover the final.
yeah,
The
I
week.
will be going to the final regardless of whatever happens. So I will be there, and Luis has applied to also cover the
Yeah, I
NWSL
emailed. I emailed.
final
I emailed the lady
for the league.
for the league and see if when's the deadline. I don't know if we are obviously if it's closed or not yet. Hopefully not. But
Yeah,
yeah, we would like to definitely be there. Whether Orlando, I'm I'm sure Orlando's gonna go there. Hopefully, um, but we definitely want to be a part of that.
for
Now,
sure.
I do wanted to just kind of say something real quick. Oh man, you're so big here. Hold on, let me change it. I'm trying to. Where is it? Right here. There you go. So obviously follow us on our Twitter account. It's right here. But I did want to kind of address something real quick. Obviously, you saw the footage here of them answering the tough questions. We'll dive in just a second, but um, right here, this right here. So obviously, I do want to say I posted this, and I do want to say to people, I apologize if people felt, you know, some type of way about what I typed there. I typed it pretty fast because we're like in the middle of the coverage, and it wasn't really my intention of sounding, unempathetic. Obviously, we're in the middle of a hurricane, and the hurricane hits tomorrow, and I totally understand that people gotta, prepare. And it wasn't just my intention to sound very unempathetic. That's all I wanted to say. I'm very empathetic on people's situations. I'm actually doing the same exact thing now, so it's I don't want people to take it the wrong way. I do saw some of the comments, which I appreciate, but obviously it was not my intention. I do want to just kind of reiterate that we've done better this whole entire season. So
I think it was just we're all just. I was a little bit sad to
yeah,
see. I think it's just when it's such a momentous occasion
yeah, that's what I
and the
meant.
shield is being lifted and Orlando Pride is such a incredible day. We would just like more people there. And I think a lot of fans would agree with that. And
Yeah,
that's really
that's
what it
pretty
comes
much.
down to. It's
Yeah,
just
that was what I mean. That
we
was what my message
understand.
was.
Everyone understands. It was just sad to see that there wasn't a more packed out stadium for such a historic event.
Yeah, and that was what I kind of wanted to say, but I didn't really write it maybe the way I should have, and that is my fault. And so if people felt that I was like super insensitive, I'm not that way. I do want to say I'm truly sorry if people have felt some type of way, but it was not my intention whatsoever. But either way, I know against the rain. I know that game is the last game of the regular season. Like you said, John's like 3 games left. Like, come on, man. Um, 3 games out of the regular season left. The rain is the last home game, and I know that game is going to be uh, probably in the 10,000s, hopefully. Yeah, so it's going to be great. So
And I want to
anything,
say, everybody, of course, we want to say stay safe,
yeah,
be
for
prepared. The
sure.
Pride has shared on their Twitter a hurricane resource guide. So go on there. You can check out. There's a whole bunch of interesting things. There's lots of resources there.
All right.
Make sure you're staying safe. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you know what you're doing, or you're evacuating, whatever.
Yeah, don't
Um,
play with that. Like,
and
just
of
go.
course, we'll all reach out to each other, be kind to each other, and help each other if you can.
Yeah, for sure. And you have the chance to help, people, help them out. If you see any animals that, sometimes animals get loose, or they let them loose because they need to evacuate. Rescue them.
I saw
Um,
the evacuation for your area of the week. So you having to go, or you're gonna stay?
well,
I
there is
saw it was near you, right?
Yeah, so there's evacuation A, B, C. I'm not in neither at the moment, but if it changes in the next few hours, then I'm cleaning my office right after this, and I have my other pod at night, and then I already have a bag ready to go. Like, I have a suitcase with my passport and all my stuff, and my puppy, which is behind Ace, sleeping, and
And hopefully on Friday, all of this will have passed, and we'll all be enjoying Orlando Pride versus Portland
that's
Thorns.
right, right? Yeah,
But if you're,
another win, another win.
yeah, if you're listening to this as the hurricane's coming over, I hope you've enjoyed and you found some comfort celebrating
Sure.
with us. And thank you for being here with us all year and listening in tonight as we celebrate a historic pod and a historic season for Orlando Pride.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to thank everyone that's watching the pod today. Just make sure that you, like I said, like always, subscribe to our social media. We are available as Loud and Proud Orlando on YouTube, LPO Podcast on X, Instagram, and Facebook, and also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We're Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And you want to end it off, John?
Just Famos Pride, man.
Vamos Pride. Let's go, guys. Have a
NWSL
wonderful.
Shield winners.
Let's go.
Undefeated.
NWSL undefeated. Let's go.
Vamos
Have a
Pride.
wonderful night.
Stay safe.